Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzon. A lot is happening in the polity. Let's bring you up to speed with our headlines. Senator Monday Okpebholo and his deputy Dennis Idahosa to be sworn in as governor and deputy governor of Edo State, following the end of the tenure of Godwin Obaseki. Thanks again for staying with us on the program. We are just moments away from a change of guard in Edo State following an expected transition of power, where Senator Monday Okpebholo to be sworn in alongside his deputy Dennis Idahosa as the governor and deputy governor of Edo State. So those are live visuals coming in from Edo State. At the event, our guests who made earlier entrances, you can see them, including top politicians, maybe from afar, public servants, private sector persons, traditional and religious leaders, among others. Some governors on the platform of the NNPC are also expected to be present here to witness the event at the Abia Stadium in Benin City, where Senator Okpebholo and his deputy are expected to be administered their oath of office by the Chief Judge of the state following their election victory on September the 21st, 2024. Okay, so you can see that's the mood at the Abia Stadium. Everybody was celebrating with the governor and his deputy, especially members of the All Progressives Congress that wrestled power from the People's Democratic Party. We're going to be joining in as soon as that ceremony starts. At any point it gets to where the swearing-in will take place. As far as the program is on, we will swoop in to get to hear him take his oath of office as well as his deputy. I'm talking about Senator Monday Okpebholo. Well, earlier, the outgoing deputy governor of Edo State, Mr. Philip Shaibu, has further unveiled how his principal, former governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, we can say that, or he's still, just a few hours, over his ambition. He says he was disrespected over his ambition to be his successor. Those were the words of Philip Shaibu. Mr. Shaibu says Mr. Obaseki was rude to his person by trying to order him instead of negotiating with him over their political differences. He also explains on our program Sunrise Daily how he intends to properly hand over to his successor whether the governor chooses to attend this swearing-in or not.
For him, loyalty means that don't contest an election and I'll just go and sit down. Of which, for me, if you don't want me to contest an election, you should speak to me as an adult. You cannot call me and say, Philip, don't contest this election. If you contest, I will destroy you. You don't use the word destroy. If you contest this election, I will destroy you. I believe so. So for me, immediately he said, if I don't contest the election, if I contest the election, it will destroy me. The activism in me woke up. And for me, it's my right, it's my constitutional right to contest an election. If you don't want me to contest, call me and let me know your program. Sell your program to me. That's what Oshomole did. It took almost 3 months for Oshomole to convince me and my followers to support Obaseki. Well, you cannot keep your own plans to yourself. Then I have started campaigning to be the governor of the state, meeting you, and you are telling me I have my plans. And I said, what is your plan? He said, your plan does not include me. And you are telling me you learned that I'm already canvassing votes. And if I don't stop, you destroy me. Is that how to talk to somebody? And Philip is one of those that made him governor. And when I said I made him governor, it's true. I'm not saying it out of because we're quarreling. I was drafted from House of Rep. I was doing well in Rep. I was drafted from House of Rep to add value to the ticket.
Yeah, so that's Philip Shaibu earlier today talking about the outgoing governor. He's the outgoing deputy talking about the outgoing governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, and why they fell out. We're still talking about Edo State. The All Progressives Congress in Edo State That's the transition committee set up on the 14th or October the 14th to liaise with the outgoing administration on the transition process, has submitted a report on its findings to the incoming governor, Monday Okpebholo. The chairman of the 25-member team, former Deputy Governor Pius Odubu, who represented or presented the report to the governor-elect in a brief ceremony in Benin City, the Edo State capital, on Monday, said the team's recommendation include the government looking into the state's level of indebtedness, carrying out a comprehensive review of the World Bank-funded Edo Best program, as well as determining the true ownership of certain businesses.
The state-owned procurement agency indicted the outgoing government in its report to the transition committee. Hence, we recommend the governor should take a critical review. His own committee of the agency of procurement indicted this government heavily as not following due process in the award of contract. So we implore the governor to look critically at that number. It is pertinent to note that Edo State has very rich opportunities and potential to become one of the top 5 states in Nigeria if transparency, accountability, and probity are carefully applied in the course of government.
So that is a submission made by the transition committee, some revelation. We'll get to all of that at some point. But let's talk about Edo State and what we should be expecting from the administration of Monday Okpebholo, who is going to be sworn in any moment from now, as I did promise, as that is if anytime that comes up, we'll just cross over to get in that swearing in ceremony. But we've been joined on the program by Mr. Andrew Mwata. He's a former commissioner in the state. He served as commissioner for information. Mr. Mwata, thank you so much for joining us. He joins us via Zoom. I can see and I know that you're very excited. We spoke to Philip Shabu yesterday, this morning. I mean, my colleagues on Sunrise. This is like, finally, we did it for you guys. So tell me your mood and the mood of the city.
Yeah, thank you, Geoffrey. It's really a pleasure to be on your program this afternoon. Though I'm supposed to be, I was at the stadium. I had to really rush here.
Thank you for coming.
Live interview. Edo people are so ecstatic. You can hardly find a single space in the stadium full to the brim and flowing because we have a new government. And I will tell you for free that since 1999, this is the first time we're having a proper transition. And I will just run through what we've had in the past. You know, it was the military that the Lucky Benedict administration took over from in 1999. And after the end of his tenure, his 8-year tenure in 2007, it was another PDP governor that took over from him, Usumbo. And remember, there was a political hiatus when the court made the pronouncement that Oshomole was the one that won that election. So in 2008, November 11th was when that judgment came from the Court of Appeal. The following day, Oshomole was sworn in. So we didn't have a proper transition. So you find that the PDP government lost that election that took place on September 21st, bringing in a new government. So in the past 3 weeks, members of the transition committee will engage those in government, and it was just yesterday we submitted our report. And this report will help the new government in charting a new course of the new Edo is Rising agenda. And I think that's why the people are so excited. And I believe this administration will bring hope back to our people. To our people.
All right. We didn't have the opportunity to engage with Mr. Okpebholo, and that became a contentious issue at some point. People like you, people like the distinguished Senator Oshomole, the chairman of the party, as well as others, were speaking on his behalf. He had just one interview, I think, with the BBC Pidgin. So we really don't know what to expect and what not to expect, except those of you who are on ground. So for those of us who are looking from outside in, let's begin with one or two things. Besides, after this excitement, governance starts immediately. And one of the big things he has to deal with is the indebtedness of the state, which I saw that it was part of that report. Whatever plans he has, it has to be funded. And if he's highly dependent, the state, which is highly dependent on FAC, about 70%, although to the credit of Obaseki, he has grown the IGR by almost 100%, but that is just scratching the surface. How does he intend to optimize revenue to begin to see how we can achieve some of his plans?
And I think the solution lies in his 5-point agenda, top of which we have the issue of security. The reason why investors will not want to come to our state is when they suspect that their businesses will not be secured. They cannot operate in a secured environment. So at the heart of Monday Okpebholo's agenda, which begins from today, is to secure our state, not to allow people who have partisan interest to man the security architecture of the state, because as you find it, you have a security structure that the outgoing government had that was flooded by cultists. So we are going to properly profile these persons. A situation where a governor gives people arms, you don't pay them monthly stipends, what do you expect them to do? They will resort to crime. So the security architecture under this new administration will be properly funded. The governor has a security vote of almost $1 billion, because I know in some states it's 600 million, in others 800 million. So I think that will be enough to strengthen whatever non-state actor-related security plan. But I think it will be in the days ahead for the governor to tell Edo people his plans to deal with the problem of insecurity, because that's the only way you can drive investment and increase the revenue base of the state. Second on the agenda, he plans to revive our road infrastructure in terms of this issue of flooding. He wants to deal with the issue of erosion and ensuring that we have roads that will stand the test of time. Edo State currently has a good network of bad roads, and I think we will change that narrative. Third on the agenda is the issue of affordable healthcare. The outgoing government did not really build hospitals. The existing ones like Stella Obasanjo, we still have parts of it that are completed, primary healthcare centers. So he's going to deal with this problem of health and see how we can bring in private people to invest in our health sector, and that will also increase the revenue base of the state. Then, of course, he has plans to deal with the issue of agriculture, not the kind of big bang agriculture Obaseki had, of giving vast arable lands to his business friends that will come to do commercial agriculture, taking lands from the local farm holders. So those are some of the things we'll be dealing with. It will be a back to the land agenda. And the last, which by no means is the least, is the issue of value-driven education. And I think the focus will be more on vocational and technical education, so that will create a blue-collar population, people who will be able to say, come, I don't want to do a degree, but I just need to obtain some skills by which I can start my own trade. And as a businessman who has invested in ICT, ICT will top that agenda. So Edo people have a whole lot to expect. Nigerians have a whole lot to expect. But the government is just starting today. And I think the best we can do is to pray for the success of this government, because the man really has very good intentions to develop our state and increase the revenue profile of our state.
Mr. Awata, truth be told, everybody always has a great plan. We've been at this for a very long time. And the prayer is always that people succeed, but we've seen people fail. And so that's why we try to ask them to come. Let's engage them so that they can see what they may not be seeing, because sometimes cronies may not be telling them the exact picture or the truth about the situation. It's politics, it's all of that. So that's why we're here. And you're going to be doing those heavy lifting. Since he's not here, he's preparing to take responsibility for the state. So let's go back to the issue you raised, security. Just a few weeks ago, it was all over social media. Edo is notorious. Benin City, notorious for cultism. How does he intend to bring that state some level of sanity? Just weeks ago, it was Upper Benin. Everywhere, people were showing videos of how people could not come out in Upper Benin and all of. People would say, avoid Upper, avoid Upper. I had to check what is Upper exactly, and I found out there's a part in Benin and all of that. So, practically, how does the team intend to wrestle this and minimize the prevalence of cultism in Benin City and Edo State in general?
I remember some time ago, we used to have this problem with what we call the CDAs, these community development associations, that made it impossible for people to have access to land. And what did we do? We now had an anti-CDA law. And I think that is what we will be bringing on board. We will look at the existing anti-cultism law. And I think it is time for us to make cultism a capital offense. If we can go back to the military days, you put them on the stake and you fire them. Because if people kill with guns, they deserve to be placed on the firing squad. As a lawyer, I think we are going to be recommending to this present administration for the laws to be reviewed, and you make it a capital offense. Because these people, they have no value for life. I've never been a member of a court, and I don't think why anybody should belong to an association or a group that is banned. And I think he has zero tolerance. He has zero tolerance for cultism. He's my personal friend. He does not belong to any court. And this is to sound a warning to all court groups in Benin. There will be no hiding place for them. We are going to smoke them out. And he's going to use the military. He's going to use every security at his disposal to deal with this problem of cultism head on. We had a government, and I can boldly say that the governor had to, the outgoing government of Obaseki had to monitor cultists in government house. I don't want to mention names, or I know people know those in his government who were cultists. And these people were just revolting against certain things that didn't happen. They didn't settle them. And that's why we had some of all these things. They have boys. But I think moving forward, it's going to be a case of zero tolerance for cultism.
Okay, just don't forget that you are, correct me if I'm wrong, you were part of the government, right? At some point. You served under Obasanjo's government.
I was over a year ago.
So
I was over a year ago, and I think I have my reasons for leaving.
So at the end of the day, whatever you're saying, I'm also going to put you in that box because you are part of that government at one point or the other. So you cannot totally devolve yourself, although you're not the commander of that state. I mean, the chief security officer of the state. That's why you're here, to give us those insider scoop, to help us out in this situation. So let's go back to the issue of road infrastructure. It's a big problem. The argument has always been most of the roads in Edo State are connecting and they are federal roads. How does he intend to approach it? In fact, he made something that trended on social media and people were like, what is going on, Mr. Okpebholo? He said, those were his words, like, you cannot give excuse for not constructing road. The worst case, construct the road, inflate the figure and get your money. Use the federal road to make money. Is that what he intends to do? I'm sure you listened to that interview. You know what I'm talking about.
On that particular occasion, it was taken out of context. What he was saying is that even if you go the extra mile in fixing a road, which naturally or traditionally is the duty of the federal government, you can actually ask for more, right? He even gave figures. He said you can fix the road for 10 million and demand for 20 million. That is not to say that he was talking about inflating, but it was like, do a good job and you get more to fix more federal roads. And I think he has already started because the Benin-Auchi road, the ECOMA axis of it, he prevailed on Mr. President and funds were released and that work is ongoing. But a whole lot of intra-city roads will be fixed. Just this morning, before I went to the inauguration venue, I went around Obotubu. I saw a whole lot of abandoned road projects. And as a close ally of the governor, one of the first tasks this week is for him to visit this site and know why the contractors have abandoned work. Because we have a government that ran the party administration. As a member of the transition committee, I can tell you that it was a clear case of state capture. Most of these road contracts were done by only one, by one or two construction companies. There was no element of local content. But what our present governor is saying, I mean, the governor that will be sworn in this afternoon is saying is that we must engage the locals. There must be some level of local content. Most of the people doing road construction in Edo State, much as they are not Julius Berger, they are foreigners from Lebanon, from all kinds of countries outside Nigeria. And people were complaining. The ban does not allow local people to benefit from contract, even up to doing some of all these media jobs. So we are going to localize contracts of road construction, and that will be our game changer of engaging the locals in developing their local communities.
Okay, I wish we had more time to talk about how he intends to raise revenue, because everything rises and falls on money. But tell me, as quickly as possible, if you can, is he going to be probing Godwin Obaseki's government? Because with what we're seeing, the signals look like it's in that direction, but just as a confirmation or otherwise?
Just to confirm that we submitted our report and the government will be probed. I'm telling you this for free, because the issue of Radisson Hotel, I sent in that government, the money that the governor claimed to use in buying that property from the Eastern of Benin was actually inflated. How can you expect a governor, an uncompleted project, you are commissioning an uncompleted project? He went to Stella Obasanjo, which he has already given out through an MOU to a private. These are, for Christ's sake, these are government social entities. A hospital like that was built by Lucky Gbenede in 2005 for poor people. Obaseki has given it to his friends in Lagos to manage. The owner of Ivy Crest has been given the hospital to manage. So we are going to review all these things. I want to actually know the cost of Stella Obasanjo, because I remember ASRO Abdul Salamad Rabi Foundation gave 2.5 billion in the handover, and that money was not mentioned. So you said I stand with that government, and I have been able to provide some information that has assisted in transition committee in asking questions, because we cannot have a debt profile of over 500 billion with little to show for it. We have a Benin City mall that we hear is partly owned by Obaseki. So all these projects, all these contracts will be reviewed.
Okay.
Because under Obaseki, we had a complete case of state capture. And that is totally unacceptable everywhere in the world. So we are going to probe him. We are begging him not to escape, because wherever he goes to, we are going to use the Interpol to bring him back.
All right, loads of allegations.
It was answer to how he spent Edo State taxpayers' money.
Those are loads and loads of allegations. So 2 things I will request from you. Number 1, now that he has become governor, I mean your friend, Senator Monday Okpebholo, he should show up for us to ask him questions. So maybe you can give him that memo as his guy. Just tell him that.
No, we are planning to have regular media chats because he's not a man of many words. But now that as governor, he will definitely engage with the media.
Absolutely.
And feel free to come to Government House from time to time as we go on road, inspection. We expect people to ask questions, and he'll be on ground to answer.
We will
I remember he was always out there campaigning, so he didn't have time for such interviews. But now as governor, I assure you, we'll create a platform for you
let's not even go to the past, because if we start that one, we'll not end this conversation. Let's not even go there. But now he's governor, he has to engage with the media. But last question, are you going to be serving in the government?
It is not for me to say. It is for him to decide. I'm always ready to serve. I'm already serving in the transition committee, and I think that's a good start if you ask me.
Okay, Mr. Andrew Nwata, former commissioner in Edo State, under the administration of Godwin Obaseki. I will always remind you that you are part of that government. So whatever you say, you're also dragging yourself in. But it's a good day for you guys. So we'll leave you in your joyful mode. Congratulations to Edo State and the governor-elect, who is going to be sworn in, and his deputy, Dennis Idahosa, and all of you are celebrating. So governance starts any moment from now. Our job is to ask you those questions so that it will benefit the people of Edo State. Thank you, Mr. Nwata. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Geoffrey. Have a beautiful day ahead.
And you too. Have a great day. Okay, just before we go, let's bring you more stories. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, has revealed that the NNPC has stopped importing refined petroleum products and is now off-taking fuel from the Dangote refinery and other local refineries. Mr. Mele Kyari revealed this while outlining the vision for Nigeria's energy future at the opening ceremony of the 42nd Nigeria Association of Petroleum Explorationists Annual International Conference and Exhibition, which held in Lagos. The NNPCL CEO says the state oil company is set to collaborate with private refineries to ensure affordable and sustainable petroleum product supply and naira for crude transactions in order to stabilize the local currency and regulate forex markets. He adds that this will bring an expansion of gas infrastructure such as Ajaokuta-Kaduna, Kano gas pipeline, Obiafo, Obrikom, Oben, that's OB3 gas pipeline project, and the development of cleaner energy options such as liquefied natural gas and compressed natural gas, known as the CNG. And same with the oil and gas sector, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, has secured an agreement with Dangote Refinery to lift petrol or petroleum products directly from that refinery. IPMAN President Abubakar Garima announced this in Abuja after a meeting of the National Working Committee of the association. He said the partnership will ensure steady and affordable supply of PMS products nationwide. And let's also tell you that there's a development in Abia State, where we have been following that development since that election held in Abia State. The governor of Abia State, Dr. Ale Soti, reiterates that he remains a member of the Labour Party. That's despite the Labour Party's poor outing at the local government elections. Remember, ZLP won 15 of 17, YPP won 2, Labour won none. And there has been that, suspicion whether he's leaving the party or not. He was interacting with journalists during a monthly media parley in Umar here, where he says the supporters who were dissatisfied with the crisis within the party decided to pitch their tents elsewhere, which led to the result of the election. Okay, that's it on the program. But just to tell you that we're now going live to Benin City, the Edo State capital, to bring you live coverage of that ceremony, the swearing in of Senator Monday Okpebholo and his deputy Dennis Idahosa as governor and deputy governor of Edo State. Stay with us.